Please don't tell Beyonce I said this, but
I can't make that promise.
you guys...
We tell each other everything.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a pretty strict,
yeah.
We've been texting all morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The first thing that I have to bring up here is how incredible this film looks. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Can you talk to our audiences a little bit about what it took just from start to finish to bring all of these characters to life and to give us this kind of experience on the big screen?
I think there are some technical aspects of it that are incrementally getting better from film to film. But honestly, I think it's allowing the artists to do their job. And having worked on Jungle Book, I really learned over those few years of how to collaborate with the artists and how to give them room to do their job properly. But as much as there's technology like using virtual production, VR tools to help set the cameras and all of that, it still comes down to artists creating every environment. It looks like it's photographed environments, but really those are created by artists, and every performance is created by animators using techniques that aren't that different from how they were done in Walt Disney's time. So really it's getting the right people to work with, and then having, of course, more and more powerful computer processors that allow for better sims and all of the things that make it feel realistic on top of
The
it.
technology in this movie is insane.
Yes.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
And we've kind of never seen it to this degree before. So getting to get into a black box theater and really perform it together, how is that different from what you would normally do for a film like this, or a live action film, if you will?
It was much more like a live action film. I've done a lot of animated movies, and you rarely even ever meet the other people that you're interacting with. And with this, we were together like pretty much the whole time. And so I think it counterbalances like the highly technical nature of the movie, because you're animating like incredibly naturalistic performances by people who are actually interacting with one another. And I think that kind of helps the comedy, especially. Like, you can tell that it's two people playing off of each other, or three people playing off each other, rather than something that's like hobbled together later. Yeah.
It was interesting for me because the voice recordings took happened over the course of about a year or so. So when I was first coming in, either on my own or with somebody else. Sometimes I did it with Donald, and we did some stuff together, and Florence as well. And they were just sort of sketches and drawings, and then later on it would be a bit more sort of completely rendered, and then it would be, at the nearer the end, this very finalized version that was sort of amazing to look at. So just going through that process and seeing the layering that was going into it was kind of, extraordinary, and add something to the characters, add something to the kind of portrayal of what you're doing, as you realize like how realistic all of this is going to be, and therefore how naturalistic, as well as being kind of heightened, and as well as being part of the spirit of the thing, but also that sort of layering of it having to feel, that realness.
Yeah, there's a scene in the beginning where a mouse runs out, and if you wouldn't have told me that I was watching a film that was created, I would have thought it was an actual mouse running out.
Yes.
Yeah. I still kind of do think that's
You bring one of the most iconic characters on this planet to life. What kind of responsibility comes with that? And then speaking to that process, how fun was it to really get to experience this character through movement and sound, and more so than you usually do?
I guess I felt the responsibility most as like a parent, not just like a one-to-one, but like as I know a lot of kids are going to watch this. Like I watched it a lot as a child as well, so I felt like I just wanted to give them something that is rewatchable. Like at the end of the day, something you can like really dig into. And I had a lot of John was really like good about being like, okay, we're gonna all get in a room, we're gonna improv and joke, and like that's really cool. I like that idea. Like you don't get that a lot on animated films, where you're, usually there's a script and you might improv a line or something and they might want to keep it, but you really don't know. Like I got to come in a bunch of times and hear it and see that and be like, I think I can do a better version of that, or come in with and hear like what Seth and Billy were doing and be like, oh, like I'm gonna hang back on this one, just like and because that's the funny part that. So it was just, And
that's how we would have done a live action movie, and that's part of why hopefully, I like that people call it live action, even though it's not technically not, because that's how, when we work together, and Seth, Billy, and And Donald and I sort of have the same background from comedy and improv, and that's how we like to do on film sets. But like I said, in animation, usually it's just at a music stand, you say the lines.
You guys steal the show.
That's so nice.
Thank
You know, I love Timon and Pumbaa from when I was a kid. I saw this way back in '94 because what kid doesn't love a good fart joke, right?
I don't know one.
But you know what? As an adult, it works for me too.
Oh, good.
Thank
yeah,
God.
yeah. I'm still loving it. But it feels so modern what you guys did with these characters, but at the same time, it still feels like my childhood. How did you guys start even preparing for this role and like thinking about tackling these iconic characters?
I mean, yeah, no, it was intimidating at the beginning, and, you know, what Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella did was iconic, you know, and I grew up loving Nathan Lane, so my idea was to try to put our own spin on it while also giving people some of the spirit of the original without copying it outright.
Yeah.
And then once we got in there, it was really helpful to improvise and riff with each other, and that really helped make it our own.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, after hearing Hakuna Matata, I have to ask, when's the album dropping?
Yeah, we're working on
our
our
album?
Christmas
Yeah, your
album.
album.
Is
Yeah.
coming.
I mean,
Hanukkah album.
Do we get it?
That's not actually
Actually, a funny idea.
You're welcome. That's all I have today.
Exactly. We'll be coming for you.
Yeah, exactly.
The Lion King is one of those movies that you ask anybody and they immediately tell you, oh yeah, I saw that with my family, or I brought my son, daughter, or, you know, they have that memory of being in a movie theater and watching it, which you don't remember moments like that for most movies. This one is just, it's so beloved.
The thing that I remember, I took my children young, and they've grown up. They've seen, you know, stage productions, and then they came the other night. But I remember the things that I was trying to talk to them about when they were wee and instill in them, or that the watching Lion King gave me a language in which to talk to them about continuity, about the circle of life, about those things you can't touch, the values you want to impart. So it gave me tools as a young mother.
I mean, I thought it was amazing. You know, when I first saw it, it's just an incredible, iconic story and an amazing. You know, I always felt nourished by it. You know, that's the thing, and I felt it was so deeply optimistic and told so many great stories and sort of life lessons, in the way that the great classics always do. I think, you know, just sort of that classic storytelling. Really, you come away with tools to live. I mean, it's sort of what you're saying as well. You know, just this idea that, you know, what it talks about in terms of family, in terms of, you know, the paternalistic, maternal kind of ideas, and home is just wonderful and strong and encouraging. And so, you know, that's what I wanted to sort of discuss with this one.
Last thing before I go, I have to bring up food. I
Yes.
love your show, The Chef Show.
Thank you.
And you just released a few shorts for polenta and avocado.
I did?
Yeah, coming up for your Adidas campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I have, and that's two of our pillars.
He cooked.
Yeah.
We're
Film,
trying to find a time.
Oh,
to
no,
cook together.
no,
He
well-
cooks asabuco. I hear he cooks a meat
Yeah.
asabuco. I'm trying to cook with him, so
Yeah, well,
we'll figure it out.
that's-
So what's this
We'll figure it out.
avocado? You
That's,
know?
Oh, no, I didn't do it. That was
Yeah.
all... that has nothing to do with that. You're making me look bad. I didn't make the food.
I hear he's a good cook.
we get to see Simba. That's one of the first things he does with Timon and Pumbaa. Is he
That's
shares
right.
a meal.
Yeah, he shares a
So
meal.
what is it about sharing a meal and experiencing a film together that's just
That's
such
all
a
my
conduit
movies.
for
I stick food in
community?
all my movies. Even Maid, he's making pasta puttanesca. They're getting pizza in Iron Man. I always slip food in there, and I love food in movies. You know, Goodfellas is about food, really, and I think it's a great way for people to get together, to get to know people when you're all come together for a meal, especially when somebody's learning from somebody else. There's always a level of tutelage there, and I've gotten to know a lot of chefs through making The Movie Chef. And to me, cooking together with people, it makes all the walls come down. And you put a bunch of strangers together, you have them prepare a meal, they're all friends by the end.